In the middle of the Varelian Star Market, under glowing banners and the hum of alien ships, a young man named Colt Mercer walked through the crowd. He wore a dark jacket patched at the shoulders and a tired look in his eyes. His boots were old, scratched by years of travel. He had seen many planets and met many species, but today he was looking for something he had never bought before: a companion. The market was busy. Voices from dozens of species filled the air. Robots moved supplies. Traders called out prices. Some sold weapons. Others sold food. And in a quiet corner of the market, under soft blue lights, was a booth that sold companions, living beings meant to serve, entertain, or simply keep company. Colt didn't like the idea at first, but the nights had grown too quiet. His small ship felt empty. After a long war and even longer travels, he didn't want a machine to talk to anymore. He wanted someone real. He stepped closer to the booth. Behind the glass walls stood 3 alien women, each from a different race. One looked at him without interest. Another turned away. But the third, a soft glowing being with silver eyes and gentle features, looked up and smiled. She was a Valari, a race known for their grace and quiet nature. She had soft, flowing robes that shimmered like moonlight. Her hair was thin and light, moving slightly even when there was no wind. Many said the Valari were emotional, gentle creatures, and that's why people liked to keep them. They never argued. They always listened. They were peaceful. Colt pointed at her. "I'll take that one." The alien clerk raised an eyebrow. "You sure human Valari are sensitive? It's not much use unless you like talking." Colt nodded. "I don't want to serve it. Just someone to talk to." The clerk shrugged. "Your credits? Your choice." He paid the fee and signed the agreement. The glass opened with a soft hiss, and the Valari woman stepped out. She didn't bow or act scared. She simply looked at Colt and said, "My name is Arala. I'm honored to meet you." Colt blinked. That was unexpected. Hi, I'm Colt. You don't have to say all that honored stuff." Arala tilted her head, studying him. "I say it because I mean it." He looked at her for a moment. She seemed sincere, not afraid, not acting, happy even. "Come on," he said, gesturing to his ship. "Let's get out of here." The inside of Colt's ship, the Sparrowhawk, was small but clean. It had 2 chairs in the cockpit, a tiny kitchen, and a sleeping area with a curtain for privacy. Arala stepped inside and looked around with wide eyes. "This is your home?" she asked. "Yeah," Colt said. "Not much, but it flies." Arala walked slowly, touching the walls gently. "Now it's warm and quiet. I like it." Colt put down his gear and looked at her. "You don't have to act polite. I'm not your master." She turned and gave him a soft smile. "I know, but I'm still happy to be here." He frowned. "Why?" "I just bought you like cargo." She sat down on a cushion and folded her hands. "Because you looked at me like I was a person." "Not a thing." Colt was silent for a moment. He hadn't realized it, but maybe she was right. He hadn't wanted a toy or a tool. He wanted someone real. And now she was here, sitting quietly, looking up at him like she was. "Content, I'll get you something to eat," he said, opening a storage bin. "I can cook." "If you show me how Arala offered," he laughed. "Most people don't offer to cook 5 minutes after being bought." She shrugged lightly. "Most people don't talk to Valari like equals." Over the next few days, Colt learned more about Arala. She was curious about everything: how the ship worked, why humans liked spicy food, what music was, and why Earth had so many different animals. She watched old Earth videos, asked deep questions, and even helped Colt repair a broken coolant valve. She learned fast. It's too fast. "You're not like what people say about Valari," Colt said one night. Arala looked up from the star map she was studying. "What do people say? That you're quiet, passive, shy?" She smiled. "I am quiet, but I'm not weak. My people were peaceful, not simple. There's a difference." Colt looked at her thoughtfully. "You're different, so are you," she replied. "You didn't buy me to control me. That makes you strange. In a good way." Colt leaned back in his chair. watching her adjust the ship's settings with perfect focus. Maybe this wasn't such a simple purchase after all. One night, as they drifted near a purple moon, Colt looked out the window and asked, "Why were you smiling when I picked you?" Arala turned to him, eyes glowing softly. "Because I could tell you were tired but not cruel. You looked like someone who wanted peace, not power. That made me feel safe." Colt nodded slowly. "Or, not scared of me?" She shook her head. "Not even a little." He chuckled. "You're a strange one, Arella." "And you," she said kindly, "are a good man, Colt." As the stars moved slowly outside and soft music played from the ship's speakers, Colt realized something strange. He had bought an alien companion, but instead of feeling guilt or discomfort, he felt something else calling. Hope not just for himself, but maybe for something bigger. He didn't know it. The Sparrowhawk glided silently through the stars, moving from one station to another. Colt Mercer had planned only a short trip, but now he was taking his time. Arala, his new Valari companion, had changed something in him. The ship no longer felt cold or empty. It felt alive. Arala moved gracefully through the ship, always quiet but never distant. She didn't ask for much. In fact, she seemed to enjoy the smallest things, watching starlight through the window, learning about human sayings, and even cooking odd meals from leftover supplies. One morning, Colt woke up to the smell of food. He stepped out of his cabin, rubbing his eyes. "Is that ... eggs?" Arala turned from the stove with a proud smile. "Powdered eggs, rehydrated with spice mix and nutrient paste. I followed the tutorial from your archive." He blinked. "You cooked this?" "Easy. I like trying," she said. "And it makes you smile." Colt laughed, sitting down at the table. "You're too kind." "I am kind because I choose to be," Arala said. "Not because I have to." That sentence stuck in Colt's mind all day. Later, while preparing for a jump to the outer trade, Lane's Colt noticed something strange. The ship's nav system had already charted a better route than the one he had planned. It skipped to fuel stops and avoided a meteor cloud. He frowned. "Did you do this?" Arala nodded. "Yes, your ship's map system is old. I updated it manually with trade routes from the last station." He blinked. "Y2 hacked into the station systems." "No," she said calmly. "I memorized their open routes while we waited in line. I also noticed their meteor cloud alert system was 10 hours behind. It was not difficult." Colt stared at her. "Arala, you're really smart." "Surprised, of course. I am. I mean, smarter than most humans I know." She smiled gently. "Thank you." Colt leaned back in his chair. Most Valari were described in trade books as gentle, soft-spoken, and sensitive but never clever or sharp. Yet, Arala had just rewritten a nav route that saved them days of travel. "Why don't people know how smart Valari are?" he asked. Arala looked out the window. Her silver eyes dimmed a little. "Because no one asks. When they do, we are not allowed to answer." Colt was silent for a moment. Then he said, "You don't have to hide anything around me." She looked at him with something close to sadness and respect. "I know." Over the next few days, Colt noticed even more things. Arala didn't just help around the ship. Listened. Not in the way someone listens because they have to, but in the way someone listens because they care. One evening, Colt sat near the window, staring at the stars. "Another nightmare?" Arala asked softly, placing a warm drink near him. He nodded. "Yeah, old war stuff." She sat beside him. "Do you want to talk about it?" Colt hesitated, then shook his head. "Not yet. Maybe one day." Arala didn't push him. She just stayed there, silent, watching the stars with him. It was the first time in years that he didn't feel alone. The space station Helios Gate hung above a bright blue gas giant, spinning slowly. Its silver ring shimmered with sunlight. Colt Mercer had stopped there many times before, but this time felt different. This time Arala walked beside him, not behind him, and everyone noticed, as they moved through the crowd, heads turned. Some aliens whispered. Others stared openly. Colt ignored them. He didn't see Arala as property. She was his friend, his crewmate. But clearly not everyone thought the same way. They entered a quiet shop to buy ship parts. The owner, a tall, green-skinned trader, narrowed his eyes when he saw Arala. "You brought her in here?" the trader asked, voice sharp. Colt frowned. "Is there a problem?" The trader crossed his arms. "Valari aren't allowed past the gate line. They stay outside. Everyone knows that." Colt looked at Arala. Her face was calm, but her eyes dimmed slightly. She had known this would happen. "She's not a pet," Colt said. "She's with me. She walks where I walk." The trader scoffed. "Your choice. But don't blame me if station security stops you." They left the shop with the parts, but the air felt heavier now. Back on the ship, Colt paced the hallway, frustrated. What is wrong with them? Why treat you like that? Rella sat quietly at the table, her hands folded. "Because that's how it has always been." "But why?" he asked. "You're smart, kind, peaceful. Your people don't deserve this." Rella looked up, her voice soft. "Do you really want to know the truth, Colt?" He nodded. "Yes, I do." She took a deep breath. A long time ago, the Valari lived on a quiet planet called Ellerin. We had technology, music, and peace. We didn't fight wars. We didn't want power. We used our telepathic gifts to help each other understand emotions deeply. Colt sat down across from her, listening closely. "Then came the warlords from the Tashari Empire," she continued. "They saw us as easy to control. We refused to help them in their battles. So they invaded. They destroyed our cities. Many of us died." Colt's hands tightened into fists. "The rest of us," she said, "were taken, sold, passed from one system to another. We were labeled as emotional support beings because we were peaceful. They rewrote the history books to make it look like we always belonged in cages." She looked down. "Over time, we stopped resisting. It was the only way to survive." Colt couldn't believe what he was hearing. "But the Galactic Council? They allowed this? They ignore it," Arella said. "They say the Valari choose this life. But how can you choose when you have no voice?" For a long moment, Colt was silent. His mind burned with anger and confusion. He had always thought the galaxy was rough, but fair. But now he saw something darker. "Why didn't anyone tell humans this?" he asked. "Because humans," our new Arala said, "only in the council for 20 years. Your leaders are still learning the rules. You're not expected to ask questions." "Well, I'm asking now," Colt said firmly. "And I don't like the answers." Later that day, Colt did something he never thought he'd do. He went to the diplomatic office at Helios Gate and asked to speak to the human representative. A hologram appeared, a middle-aged woman in a uniform. "Trader Colt Mercer. What can I help you with?" "I want to report a violation of rights," he said. "The Valari are being enslaved across multiple systems." The woman's expression shifted. "That's a strong word, Mr. Mercer." "The right word," he replied. "I have a Valari companion. She told me everything. Her people were conquered. Their history was erased. They're being sold as property. That's slavery." The woman sighed. "Mr. Mercer, if you continue to push this subject, you might be marked as a disruptive trader. I suggest you focus on your travels and let the council handle interspecies matters." Colt stood stiffly in the center of his ship's small bridge. He felt like shouting, but instead, he turned off the communication line. The screen went dark. Behind him, Arala stood silently. "You were right," Colt said after a pause. "They don't want to hear the truth." Arala stepped forward. "I told you because I trusted you. I never expected you to fight for us." He turned to face her. "But I want to fight. Even if I can't win, someone has to speak." Looked into his eyes, her silver gaze calm but glowing. "Even one voice can start a storm." The next few days were quiet. Too quiet, Colt continued with repairs, but his heart wasn't in it. Arala spent her time updating old star maps, recording information, and listening to old Earth music. She liked piano songs, the most especially the slow, thoughtful ones. One evening, as the stars drifted quietly outside the windows, Arala brought Colt a small device. "What's this?" he asked. A data crystal, she said. It holds everything. I remember from Elleren's songs, poems, history, my mother's voice. I recorded it before I was taken. Colt held it gently, like it was made of glass. I want you to keep it, she said softly. If anything happens to me, nothing's going to happen to you, Colt replied quickly. You don't know that, Arla said. Not with what you're doing now. He nodded slowly. She was right. Still, he slipped the crystal into a secure case and locked it inside his ship's hidden panel. A few days later, the Sparrowhawk docked at a quiet outpost on the edge of neutral space. Colt had a friend there, Rico Yolan, a former Navy pilot turned information smuggler. Rico owed him a favor. They met in a dusty hangar, where old engines and parts lay scattered. Colt Mercer, Rico said with a grin. Didn't expect to see you this far out. I need help, Colt said. Something big. Rico raised an eyebrow. Go on. Colt told him everything about Arala, the Valari history, and the council's silence. Rico listened carefully, then let out a long whistle. That's dangerous talk, my friend. I know, Colt said, but I have proof. Arala gave me a crystal. Real memories. Real evidence. Even if that's true, Rico said, you'd have to share it with someone big enough to care. And most of the council doesn't. What about EarthNet? Colt asked. They still report the truth. Rico nodded slowly. Maybe, but you'd have to sneak past a dozen checkpoints to get that data back to human space. I'll take the risk, Colt said. Rico looked at him, then glanced at Arala, who stood silently nearby. You really care about her? Don't. You. Colt nodded. More than I thought possible. Rico sighed and handed him a coded transmitter. Use this. It's linked to an old EarthNet contact of mine. Secure channel, one-time use. Colt took it. Thanks, Rico. Careful, Rico said. If the wrong people find out what you're carrying, they won't just chase you. They'll erase you. They left the outpost quickly, back aboard the *S. The Sparrowhawk left the outpost under quiet stars, gliding into dark space. Colt Mercer sat in the pilot's seat, his eyes sharp, hands steady on the controls. Rala sat beside him, calm but alert. The moment they activated the secure transmitter, Rico had given them. Colt knew the clock had started ticking. He opened the coded channel and sent the data from Morala's Crystalla message. A warning and the truth about the Valari. The transmission was short, but it held decades of hidden pain. Songs, memories, voices of a lost people. It's done, he said. Then we must be ready, Arala whispered. Colt looked at her. Ready for what? Her silver eyes glowed faintly. They won't let the truth go unpunished. Just hours later, the first sign appeared. A warning light blinked on the console. Unknown ship detected. Range, 800 clicks. Not responding to hails. Colt checked the scanner. No ID. No beacon. That's not a trade ship. Arala's voice was calm. They found us. He clenched his jaw. They're fast. They're also afraid, she said. Afraid of what we've already shared. Colt turned the ship hard, heading into the asteroid field near planet Pharos 5. The field was dangerous rock storms and magnetic waves, but it would hide them. The chasing ship fired. Blue plasma blasts lit the dark. Hold on, Colt shouted. The Sparrowhawk dived through the rocks. Alarms screamed. Small explosions shook the hull. Arala held the side of her seat, eyes focused but calm. You can do this, she said. Colt gritted his teeth. I will do this. He spun the ship between two crashing asteroids. The enemy ship followed closely, but the rocks were too fast. Too wild with a final hard turn, Colt flipped the ship through a narrow gap. The enemy tried to follow, but a giant asteroid struck its side, boom, on the scanner. The enemy signal vanished. We lost them, Colt said, breathing hard. For now, Rala added. They hid for hours inside a quiet cave on a dead moon. The Sparrowhawk powered down to stay hidden. Colt worked on the hull repairs. Rala helped without being asked, passing tools, patching wires, checking coolant flow. You really know your way around ships, he said. I've watched you. She replied. And I remember well. When they were done, they sat on the small couch in the main cabin. The stars above the moon were silent and still. I didn't ask for this, Colt said. I just wanted a quiet life. Maybe a friend. Orala looked at him. And now you have both. He smiled. You're not just a friend, Orala. You're something more. She placed a gentle hand on his. And you are more than a buyer. You are the first to truly see me. They sat in silence for a while. Then Orala spoke softly. Colt, if I do not survive this, promise me one thing. Don't say that, please, she said. Promise me you'll finish what we started. Promise me you'll tell the galaxy who we are. Colt took her hand in both of his. I promise. But we're not dying today. Not you. Not me. The next morning, a message reached them. The EarthNet contact replied. We received your transmission. It has gone viral. People are talking. Earth officials are demanding a hearing with the Galactic Council. Colt read the message twice, stunned. It worked. People are listening. Orala smiled. And for the first time, tears formed in her eyes. My people, they will not be forgotten. But celebration was short. A second alert came through. Warning. Tashari interceptor vessels have been deployed.
Wow.
2 are headed to your last known location. Stay hidden. Colt stood quickly. They're not done. They'll hunt us to the end. Orala nodded. Then we must move quickly. We must reach a secure zone. There's a human science base near the rings of Valen 3, Colt said. We can get there in under 12 hours. They'll protect us. The Sparrowhawk flew fast and silent through deep space, heading toward the bright rings of Valen 3. The planet glowed like a blue marble, surrounded by spinning, icy rings that reflected the light of a distant sun. It was beautiful, but dangerous. To inside the cockpit, Colt kept his eyes on the scanners. The Tashari interceptors were still searching nearby systems. So far, they hadn't found him. But he knew that could change any minute. Orala sat beside him, checking navigation charts. Her fingers moved quickly, her face calm. We are close, she said. The science station orbits just beyond the outer ring.
Alice.
Let's hope they'll let us dock, Colt replied. They've never had someone like you on board before, Orala tilted her head. Then today they meet someone new. Smiled slightly, but his mind stayed sharp. His promise to her hand to the truth was not something he planned to break. As they neared the ring, voice crackled over the comms, unidentified. Ship, this is Valen 3 Research Station. State your name and purpose. This is Sparrowhawk, registered under Colt Mercer, he replied, requesting emergency docking. You carry classified data linked to council corruption. Human command knows we're coming. Pause, then. Request received. Docking bay. 4 is now open. Be advised. Security is on alert. Colt nodded. Understood. The docking sequence was smooth. As the ship settled onto the landing pad, Orala looked out the window. Scientists in white suits stood watching them. Soldiers, too. This is a risk for them, Orala whispered. Then let's make it worth it, Colt replied. Inside the station, they were met by Commander Silva, a sharp-eyed woman with silver hair and a calm voice. I've read the reports, she said. You've stirred up quite a storm, Mercer. The council isn't happy. Truth often makes people uncomfortable, Colt answered. Her eyes shifted to Orala. And you must be the Valari who started it all. I only shared my story, Orala said gently. It was time. Commander Silva didn't smile, but she nodded. Come with me. We'll keep you safe for now. The next few days passed quickly. News from the outside galaxy exploded. The files Colt had sent reached EarthNet, and the broadcasts spread far and wide. The truth about the Valaris past, the stolen history, the lies people were shocked. Across space, humans demanded answers. Some races supported them. Others tried to shut the news down. Inside the science station, Orala was treated with respect. Scientists asked questions, listened to her memories, and began building a full record of Velari culture. Colt watched her speak to them, proud of her calm voice and quiet strength. You were never meant to be a servant, he told her one night. I was meant to be seen, she replied, but peace didn't last long. One evening, alarms echoed through the station. Red lights flashed. Emergency doors locked. Colt and Arala ran to ward. The Control Center Commander Silva met them halfway. "We have a problem," she said. "2 Tashari ships are in orbit. They're demanding we hand over the Valari female." Colt's jaw clenched. "Absolutely not. They claim she was stolen property," Silva said, disgusted. "But we don't follow their laws. Still, we can't fight 2 warships. We're just a science team. Then help us escape," Colt said. "We can lead them away. You can stay neutral." Silva hesitated, then nodded. "We'll give you cover. But once you leave, you're on your own." Arala looked at Colt. "Then we go." The Sparrowhawk launched again, faster this time, heading toward the dark edge of space. Behind them, the Tashari ships followed. Colt pushed the engines to their limit. "We can't outrun them forever," he muttered. Arella looked at him calmly. "Then we must outsmart them." He glanced at her. "You have an idea?" "Yes," she said. "There is a gravity storm near the broken moon of Cassari 6. Few dare enter.
Oh.
But if we use its pole, we can disappear. That place is a ship. Graveyard, and also our chance." Colt nodded. "Then let's fly into the storm." As the Tashari ships closed in, the Sparrowhawk dove into the dark. Lightning danced across space. Gravity waves twisted the sky. The ship rocked and groaned. Colt held tight to the controls. Rala guided him with calm directions. To the left over, the broken core now down dive low. A massive shockwave hit them, but they held steady. Then Dash silenced on. The scanner, the Tashari ships turned away. "They lost us," Colt whispered. Arala smiled. "Sometimes darkness can be protection." They drifted in silence. Far from council space, far from war, but not far from hope. Colt looked at Arala. "We did it know?" she said. "We started it."